Yeah.
You will.
But you can't get an Apple.
We have Devora's phone. We'll replace the screen and give you that and just wipe it.
She can't have an iPhone until 10th grade.
But hers is cracked.
I just
My
said, we'll
lens?
get a new screen.
But you still can't get an iPhone until 10th grade.
Right. Either way, we're going to follow the school's rules. Because did you know?
Better? Is anybody good on Sunday night baseball or something?
I mean, the Yankees are playing, but the NBA playoffs, all the playoffs were earlier in the day, so
No.
the Yankees are playing, but I can't believe someone's watching that instead of the Daf.
You know, good thing I found out. I could have a Havamina of finding out an NBA score because this Chaya Behema got eliminated. So if I want to hear a score, I can monitor myself to hear a score.
I don't know which Chaya Behema you're referring to.
I don't even know what he just said. I don't even understand what you just said.
Okay, good. So what should I do, Shmuel David? I'm with you for 5 years. You still don't understand. What am I supposed to do?
I don't understand that comment. Some comments I understand.
LeBron James, Chaya Behema.
He's out. He's out of the
He's
playoffs.
out. That's what I said.
That's what he's saying. So now he
So if
could.
I hear a
Okay,
score, I don't have to shut it off because it won't be a score of his game.
Okay. I'm a little slow, okay? For some people, it's early. For me, it's late, so I'm a little slow.
Clearly, listen, he was
understand.
eliminated. So
I did not walk around the aisles of the grocery store for 8 hours today like you are. 100% I'm asking.
he's clearly also slow. That's why he was eliminated.
No, it's because the other guy is. Some other guys were injured. It wasn't because of him.
Yeah.
In case you had the it was a chash, I'm saying.
It was really just because Phoenix is better.
There you go.
Here he is. Here he is.
Wait, better than what?
It could be, but he's from
Whatever.
Phoenix, so
Just
that's
better.
fine. We get it. We're not going to get into this at this time.
No, none at all.
Yeah, okay, we're ready to roll?
Yeah.
Okay, so we left off in the middle of the sugya of breira. Right? So we said that breira, yesh breira, ain't breira. So yes, I know it became a Yiddish phrase that ich kan breira, right? Something, right? That's a Yiddish phrase. That means I don't have a choice, right? So if you hold yesh breira or ain't breira, so the pshat is, can you retroactively make a choice and say that this choice is going to kick back to whatever time you needed it to, whatever time you needed it to be chosen. The Gemara is going to go through a couple of cases, but basically, again, you're saying that if I make a choice, to use just this mushal, let's say you have to decide what you're eating for supper. So you say that, that choice is going to kick itself back to by breakfast, I decided what I'm eating for supper, even though the decision wasn't made until supper. I don't know what it would be negaya. Meaning you're making a decision later, but you're saying that decision kicks itself back retroactively. Yeah. So, where do we leave it off?
4 lines on the bottom.
Oh, so the Gemara writes, so 4 lines up on the bottom. Thank you, parents. So Rabbi Yehuda lesle breira. So we say that Rabbi Yehuda doesn't hold the breira. So therefore, again, what was the case that the Gemara is talking about, where they didn't have any tzedakah boxes to say which karbonas are chayiv for, meaning people had to put in money for the birds that they're chayiv to give. So they didn't mark it off because they were afraid that somebody who died, his chatas money is going to be mixed in there, and then it's going to passel everything. So the Gemara asks, okay, so what's the big deal? Just take 4 zuz and throw it out, and then retroactively we'll say that those 4 zuz belong to the guy who died, whose korban chatas died, and all the other money in the box is going to be okay. So we say you can't do that because Rabbi Yehuda doesn't hold a breira. Okay, so Mindalan, how do we know that Rabbi Yehuda does not hold a breira? So if you say this that we learned in the Mishnah, so if somebody buys yain from Kusim, then the assumption is that Kusim don't take off chumas and maasros. So eruv. So again, he's taking. He bought wine from Kusim on eruv Shabbos when it got dark. So meaning it's about to get dark. It's not Shabbos yet, because if it's not if it's Shabbos already, then there's nothing he could do about it. We're talking about it's right before Shabbos, and he's not going to have time to separate the wine, right? He bought wine for Shabbos from a Kusi. Now the Kusi, the assumption is Kusi, by the way, is a suffix whether their gerus was a good gerus or not. So we treat them like goyim. So the assumption is they don't take off chumas and maasros. So this guy right before Shabbos bought the wine and realizes that he's got to take off chumas and maasros, but he's not going to have enough time to remove the chumas and maasros. He's got this barrel of wine that he's coming home with for Shabbos, and he's not going to be able to remove the chumas and maasros. So what he's going to do, he's going to do a breira. So again, eruv Shabbos im chashecha. So he stands up and he says, yeah. Now, why do you have to stand up? That's a whole different shmooze. But he stands up and says, Shnei lugin shani asid lahafresh harei and truma. 2 lug that I'm going to eventually separate after Shabbos is going to be the truma. Meaning he's not separating it now because he doesn't have time. He's just saying the barrel, whatever amount of lug were in the barrel, he's saying 2 of those lugin are going to be truma. Right, and then on Talmud Aleph, then he says Asara, then 10 lugin from the Ma'aser Rishon, Asara Ma'aser Rishon, then 10 lug are going to be Ma'aser Rishon, because Truma is actually less than, the assumption is 100 lug barrel. So he's going to take off 2 lug, because that's the average you have to give to the kohen, 2 lug of Truma. 10 is a tenth, that goes Ma'aser Rishon, that goes to the Leviyim. And Tisha, which is a 10th left over from that, is Ma'aser Sheni. He's going to take it Ma'aser Sheni, take it up to Yerushalayim, right? Heichal, and then he's going to make it chal, meaning he's going to transfer the Ma'aser Sheni onto coins. And he's going to drink that wine right away. Divrei Reb Meir, that's what Reb Meir holds. Right. So again, he doesn't have time to take off the chumas and Ma'aser from this wine. Right. It's right before Shkia. So he says, I'm taking off the chumas and maasros right now, and I'm not taking them. I'm putting aside in my mind that there's going to be the chumas and the maasros, and I'm going to remove it after Shabbos. And then retroactively, we're going to say that it was the chumas and maasros were removed, so therefore it's no longer chul, and he's allowed to eat it. So that's what Reb Meir says you're allowed to do. On Talmud Beis, Rabbi Yehuda, Rabbi Yosef, Rabbi Shimon, Eisrin, but Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbi Yosef, Rabbi Shimon say that it's also. Alma, why did they say it's also? Alma ain't breira. They must not hold a breira. That's why they said it's also to do this. He's not allowed to drink the wine because the chumas and maasros, you have to actually remove it. You can't say that, tomorrow night I'm going to remove the chumas and maasros, and retroactively it's going to be removed from now. Because bottom line is right now you did not remove the chumas and maasros from the wine, right? So clearly you see they don't hold of breira. There actually is a case that can potentially come up. Is that, let's say somebody forgot to take off challah. A woman bakes 5 pounds of challah, right? And Friday night she never removed challah. So what do you do? Right? So what do you do? So it's not exactly the same case, but in Eretz Yisrael, it's a problem. You can't really do much. But in Chutz La'aretz, where's the Rabbanan? So what you do is you leave over a piece of challah from one of the challahs till Motzei Shabbos, and then you remove a little piece of challah. So that's where a similar case can practically happen nowadays in Chutz La'aretz. But anyways, so you see from this that he doesn't hold a breira. So the second line down now on the base. Yeah.
No, see, Yaakov, my only shayla is that isn't there a tzad that the whole reason why the kusim you have to take off children and mice is only din darabana?
Well, the child is when did this take place? Before the Gezerah, after the Gezerah?
No, I'm saying if you hold that Kusim are really goyim, so then there's no Isser,
Correct.
right? There's no Isser in the rice. It's only Midrabanan.
Rabbanan.
So why wouldn't this, according to Yehuda, Rabbi Yossi, and Rav Shimon, according to this Torah, wouldn't that be Xera?
What do you mean? The Gemara's teretz is going to be coming up.
No, I'm saying right now, if you hold that it's only Midrabanan and they're Nechush, it's Xera. According to the Rishonim, that it's Din Darabanan to begin with, and now you're being the Tanaim are being Chayshish L'Shem Yibaka. Wouldn't that be Xera?
That's what I'm saying. Are you saying you're asking Kash on the next teretz that we didn't do yet? Yeah.
I thought we did L'Shem Yibaka. I'm sorry.
No, we didn't do it. No, but fine. That's fine. You're saying that's a Gezerah to a Gezerah. I don't know if you look at the Rabbanon, that it's a Rabbanon, they have to take off Trumas and Maisis as a Gezerah. I don't know. Is that the way you look at it? I'm not sure. I'm not sure if that's looked at as a Gezerah.
What wouldn't it be because they're worried, whatever, that you might be, what other reason would they be, what other reason would they be misaking that you shouldn't eat their, you have to take out Trumas and Maisis?
Because, yeah, I don't know. I hear your question. I'm not sure. Okay, anyway, so the Gemara says, so it must be, doesn't hold the breira. So second line out, the Gemara answers, no, mimai. Who says they don't hold the breira? Maybe they do hold the breira. Dilma, shani Hahsem Ketani time, and maybe over there is different. Like we learned that the reason why they didn't allow you to do this shtick is because Amrloi, the Rameir, they said to Rameir, I ata moida shema yibaka hanoid. What happened? How do you know that this barrel is just a practical concern? Again, what are they saying to do? What's Rameir saying to do? Separate Trumas and Maasros in your head. In your head, you're separating Trumas and Maasros, but you're not physically going to separate it until Matzah Shabbos. Right? What happens in the interim? His barrel gets broken. It all spills all over the place, and you weren't mafresh Trumas and Maasros on this barrel. What are you going to do then? It's very nice. You want to say Lemafreya works retroactive, but if that barrel spills on Shabbos afternoon,
does that happen often?
And now you're asking what Akiva. I don't know if it happens often, but if it does, you're talking about a major. I mean, to eat chulin is a. It's true. You're saying it's a derabanan though. It's only a derabanan. That's what Akiva's asking.
No, he's asking even if it's not a derabanan. If it's loy shliach, it's not a problem. They weren't geyser in shliach.
Yeah, so I don't. It must have been something shliach. I guess you have to say that it must have been some sort of shliach. I know anything on Shabbos afternoon at my house is very shliach to break. I can tell you that. Spills, breaks is very shliach at my house. I don't know about anybody else's, but I think it would be a concern, right? There's flying balls and who knows what going on. So especially on the long Shabbos afternoon. So I don't know if it's shliach or not, but. Yeah, but the truth is that's really the Gemara's teretz. Because va'amar lahem, what did Rameir answer back? Because l'chayr it's a good concern. If this barrel busts, right, then you just ate chulin. So he says va'amar lahem l'kashi yibaka, right? When it breaks, right, the typical rabbi answer. When it breaks, you'll come and we'll worry about it then, right? So maybe it's l'chayr, that's lo shchiach. He means lo shchiach, right? That's l'chayr what he means by that. It's not shchiach. He wouldn't just blow him off if he didn't think it wasn't shchiach, right? It could be
unless Akiva's right.
What?
Unless Akiva's right.
Akiva was asking Zera. Here the Gemara is really saying
could be that's his answer. That's what Rameir is saying.
I hear.
Rameir holds Xera, so I'm not going to be geyser.
Yeah.
Shayibaka. When if it happens, come back. You have a new shayla, fine.
Yeah. Okay, but anyway, that's basically what it means. It's not. He's saying that it's not such a concern. Fine. So okay. So now we don't know. We don't have a proof either way. So Elo miditani ayoy. I don't know if anybody remembers ayoy from Eruvin. That was an interesting name. Right. So ayoy said that ayoy said in the Brisa the tani ayoy, because ayoy said. Rabbi Yehuda Aimer, Ein Adam Masna al Shnei Dvarim Ke'echad. A person is not allowed to make two Tanaim like one thing. Now, okay, people are coming into this marriage to davened Ma'ariv. So, side room, where's it going to be less loud? What about the back room there? What? Okay, hold on a second. Hold on a second.
Why don't they daven in the back room?
Because I'm in the besmerish. They should daven in the besmerish. I'm in the besmerish.
Maybe they should skip davening tonight because of you.
Yeah.
Naftali, we needed you there now, and you're not there.
I'm sorry. I'm not there.
It's me.
Baron, he could have used him as a
He's
bouncer.
also learning.
I'm saying we needed him there. Don't. You call him Moisef Gareya. He said it already. Didn't know what?
Why can't we just sit in there? He won't even know. He won't even know. Okay. Sorry about that. Oh. Hold on.
Your mamish just had a kikara on your panel. You had to remove it.
What do you mean?
The lights in the back behind you.
Yeah. Anyways, okay. Element the Tani Ayoy, right? The Tani Ayoy, Rabbi Yehuda Omer, right? Ayoy said, the Rabbi Yehuda Omer, ain't the masna shnei dvarim ke'echad. A person cannot make a tanai on two things at once. Meaning this is talking about eruv techum. So a guy knows that some rabbis are coming for Shabbos and he wants to go out and greet them. He doesn't know which direction they're coming from. He doesn't know if there's both coming, not coming, one not. So what does he do with his eruv? So what he can say is, if a chacham is coming to the east, my eruv is to the east. Meaning he puts an eruv to the east side of the city, and he makes it, and the ma'ariv. And if the chacham comes to ma'ariv, eruv is the ma'ariv. Meaning he could pick one. He could pick the eruv techum going to the east, or he could pick the eruv techum going to the west. But he can't put out two eruvin, right? He can't put out two eruvin and say, I'll decide Shabbos morning when the Rav. Well, I don't know how when he hears the hak in the shul, which way the Rav is coming, then he'll run that way. Meaning he can't make two separate eruvin and decide on Shabbos. Oh, lemafreya, maybe say breira. Comes out that he chose whichever way the rabbi comes. That's the way he's going to choose.
This is the same Mishnah Yitzchak said on it. They were running the other way.
Correct. Right. That was right. That's what he said. Yeah, they should run away from that. I forgot about that. They run away from the rabbis, right? Yeah. So Vavinaba, right? So they were declaring, how come you can't do it in both directions? Because there's no breira. The Mizrach Nami and breira. Why can you say Mizrach Chomayr? Let's say he makes the eruv to the east, or he makes the eruv to the west. He doesn't have a choice. He's making the choice on Shabbos morning also, right? So no, we're talking about that the Chacham already came. The Chacham already got there Friday by Shkia. He just didn't know which way. So the decision was already made. He just doesn't find out about the decision till later. But the decision was made before Shabbos. Yeah. So Vahasha, then reading Rabbi Yehuda ain't breira. So the Gemara says, now that we're saying according to Rabbi Yehuda, there's no breira. Again, I didn't explain the last Gemara. So there, Rabbi Yehuda says it doesn't work. So clearly, you see, Rabbi Yehuda says you're not allowed to make I'll make the eruv this way and that way. So then he clearly doesn't hold the breira. So fine. So now Vahashta, Rabbi Yehuda ain't breira. Now that we said according to Rabbi Yehuda, there's no breira. Haksiva is slay, right? And he holds of ksiva. Right, meaning we said yesterday the Gemara had a Havamina that writing for the kohen gadol or writing on shkolim, it doesn't work, right? So how's it going to work here? So he said ksiva, he does hold the ksiva, right? So again, he doesn't hold the breira, but he holds the ksiva. So Yom Kippurim nami never trei v'nichtav alayu. So by Yom Kippur, why can't they make two pillars for the kohen gadol, right? That was the whole sugya started there. Yehuda says that the kohen gadol only has one pillar to put down the bucket of blood from the seir and the bucket of blood from the parah, right? So since he has one of each, so why can't you make two? So we were afraid he's going to mix it up. So why can't you just let them just write on each pillar? One is the seir and one is the para. So Gemara answers, because the kohen gadol is going to be so weak, it's not going to be on his das, right? Meaning he's going to be he's fasting and he's doing all the whole avodah of the Beis Hamikdash that day. So Mamela, he's going to be shvach, and he's not going to. Rashi says he's not going to be ma'ayin in the writing, and he's not going to notice it. Because if you don't say this, that the kohen gadol is weak, like sivanami, then even without writing.
He doesn't have a scan at this in this area next to him?
You're right. He does have this. You're right. But maybe the scan's also wiped out. I hear that horror, right? Maybe right? Maybe he should have the scan. I don't know. Okay, but so what's his proof? He should be able to tell which blood is which without writing, right? When you take the blood from a cow, there's obviously a lot more blood coming out of a cow than that comes out of a goat, right? So one of the buckets should have a lot of blood, and one bucket should have a little blood, and he should be very discernible to the kohen gadol. Elamai, it must be because he's very weak. He's not going to be able to discern it. Maybe he didn't take all the blood. Maybe he just had the par's blood, and he took it in the bucket, but he didn't get all of it. Rav Yehuda, he needs to shecht all the blood. He needs to be makabel all the blood of the pasha. Well, not all, but just the blood that comes out, all that initial blood. That's called damapar. You said mizbeach. He has to take all the blood of the par and spill it on the mizbeach. Okay, so maybe he's going to grab all the blood, but maybe some of it spilled. So then the Gemara says a different thing. No, the bloods look different. Right, it's interesting. I was wondering with Bengeya to Taras HaMishpacha, they always say that there's 5 different types of blood. So we always wonder, like, how can there be different types of bloods? Well, here the Gemara is saying that the goat's blood is white. Literal, the translation is chivar is white. Doesn't mean the blood is white, right? Isn't there a whole diyun that blood is really blue, and when it hits the air, it becomes red? You ever heard that one? So that's not what this means. It means just it's a lighter shade of red. The Hahsem and the par's blood is much deeper red. So he should be able to tell which bloods it is. Because of the weakness of a kohen gadol, it's not on his das. So too here, because of the weakness of the kohen gadol, it's not on his das. It's not on his das, and he's therefore even writing on which pillar the kohen gadol should put down the blood is too much, and it's not going to work. So that's why you need one pillar. And he takes the blood from the seir and he puts it down. And then when he needs to switch, then he switches it. And like this, he won't get confused between the two bloods.
I mean, if we can't trust him to read labels because he's so tired, how do we trust him to do the avoda at this point? To do stuff? How could he do anything?
So
he's so exhausted.
He steps it up. He steps it up.
So then he could be able to read a label also.
No, that's not the same thing. No.
Okay.
I would think that it's by rote. He's so used to doing it, he can do it in his sleep, maybe. But then he's saying you should be able to read in his sleep too. I hear. I don't know. All these kashas they're good kashas. Very hard to understand when they decided to be chaysha that he's tired, not tired.
Something that's extracurricular is always different than something that's part of whatever the divan is. Even if it's much less of an avodah, I'm thinking about doing the avodah. Finish. You want me to read now on top of it? Go away.
I hear. Okay, maybe. All right, fine. So who the Nachas Kamei the Rav is an interesting story, right? I thought of you when this story happened, because who the Nachas Kamei when I read the story. Why? Because who's going to notice what the chazan says by the davening? Gershon will notice what he says by the davening. That's what. Who else? Everybody else not paying any attention to what the chazan says, right? So he's every chazan's nightmare. Yeah. So who the Nachas Kamei the Rav? So
by the way, I just had this in Mincha last week. By what's it called? Yeah. Someone said Mashiv Ruach. The chazan said Mashiv Ruach. Me and one other person noticed.
There you go. See that? Okay. In that case, it's not a nightmare.
But I have a mitzvah shuttle I skipped, and there's only 2 people that noticed: my mother's best friend, and the Rav of my shul.
There you go.
There you go. Right. Okay. So anyway, so who
They
knows?
should have had a woman for a rub. They would have saved a lot of money.
Yeah. And you probably, what's it called? No, it's a Humnik from Chaim Berlin.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I just saw his children's Shabbos on the way to
so Mrs.
Anshe
Humnik
Harris. I saw them on the block of Anshe Harris.
So Mrs.
Very
Humnik's
good.
the only one that noticed that I skipped.
Yeah, very good. Okay, so anyway, so Hahud is here. Well, this what this story is about. Who the Nafas Kamed the Rava? Somebody went down in front of Rava, meaning, again, this is a case where if you just read the Gemara, Nochis Kamed the Rava, as he went down. When Rashi says he was the Shliach Tzibur, that he went down in front of Rava. He was the one saying over the Seder of Yom Kippur. So Omar Yotza Veinichu al kan sheni shebeheichal. When he was going through the davening, what do we do by Musaf Yom Kippur? We go through the chazan. Everybody reads what he does. So the chazan here read that he goes out, and he takes the venichu al kan sheni shebeheichal. He puts down on a second pillar. Right, so that means that's not like Rabbi Yehuda because there were two pillars. Not al dam hapar v'niyach dam asir. But then he said he took the blood of the bull and he put down the dam of the goat. Now, why, if there are two pillars, why does that have to? Why does he have to do that? If you say not al dam hapar v'niyach dam asir, that sounds like there was only one pillar, and because he couldn't put down one without picking up the other one. Right, so it's a stira. So Amrulei chadaka Rabbanan v'chadaka Rabbi Yehuda. One part of your davening, you went like Rabbi Yehuda, and another part of your davening went like the Rabbanan. How could that be? So he answered, no. He put down the blood of the goat, and then he picked up the damafar. Meaning, even though there's two pillars, we learn out, and we're gonna have this later, that he put the dam. He has to put down the blood of the seir before he picks up the dam of the par. Even though it's on two different pillars. We thought that it's in one pillar, so he has to swap it out, right? But no, that's not what it's saying. He has to put down, his dafka has to put down the damasir and then take the damapar. That's what it's saying. Yeah, fine. Okay, let's just do a little bit more. So what does he do? He sprinkles on the paraychis that's opposite the aron. The same thing he has to do in the oil mayed, right? Like we've been learning, he has to do in the oil mayed, he has to do it outside the oil mayed. Matam and loima, right? So what is it? Why is the Torah saying v'chein yasel oil mayed? So we're saying kishem shemaz l'fnai l'fnim kach maz b'heichal. The same way he sprinkles the blood inside the kodesh kedashim, he does it by the heichal too. Ma l'fnai l'fnim achas l'mala v'sheva l'mata midam apar. Just like he has to take the bull's blood and sprinkle it 1 on top and 7 on the bottom. Kach mazav heichal. So same thing by sprinkling the heichal, he has to do the same thing, 1 on top, 7 on the bottom. And just like he has to do it in the Kodesh Kedashim with the blood of the goat, kach mazav heichal. It's the same thing he has to do it in the heichal. Fine. So then the Gemara says a little bit of Agada here. And it says that Hashem is going to be living with them when they're tamei. Even when the Yidden are tamei, Hashem is still with them. So I'm like, Tzeduki Rab Chanina. So Tzeduki said to Rab Chanina on Talmud Aleph, Hashta bari tmeim asun. Now for sure you're for sure tamei, meaning because they're already in the Galus, right? So he said to him, now you're for sure tamei. Tichsiv tumasam b'shulya. Right, it says tuma is on the bottom of her clothing, which is a lashon of a nida, right? Because there's blood on the bottom of her clothing, and she's estranged from her husband when she's a nida. So it must be that Hashem is not with you because you're in Galus. So Amalei tochazi maksiv behu. No, look what it says in the pasuk. It says Hashaychen itam b'sarch tumasam, that Hashem is with Klal Yisrael even when the tamei. Afilu was man shein tmeim shchina shruya b'neihin. Even when the Yidden are tamei, Hashem is still with them. So even in the Galus, Hashem is still considered. Meaning, Tzeduki was trying to say that Hashem is not with Klal Yisrael now, and no. The answer is no, that He's still with Klal Yisrael because it says Hashem is with us even b'soich tuma. Okay, we'll stop here. Okay, all right. A gute Nacht, everybody.
Thank you.
Shikoyah.
Thank you.
Morning.